Jo once told me that her thing that she wanted to be when she was a child was a pig farmer. I'm going to make that happen for you. Hi folks, hope everyone is doing well. Later on in the video we're going to be sharing a bunch of projects that we've got going on here behind the scenes, and also the videos around next week, which are being a bit hidden whilst we're getting them done. But we've got some big news and we've been looking forward to sharing this.
Yep, it's not just the t-shirt either. Patrons will already know this because we've been chatting with them for a few months behind the scenes, but for about the last year we have been actively looking to move. Shock horror. From our lovely home.
It's always been on the cut. Like, we're going to outgrow this house. It's always going to be big enough for us as far as the building, bedrooms, things like that. But there's a few things it lacks, and also just the challenge of taking on a new project. And building a house is something we've always wanted to do, or taking on a bigger renovation, more of an eco renovation.
We've only looked actively for the last 6 months, but for the last year we've kind of, projects have come up or come our way.
Yeah.
But for one reason or another, I mean, we fell in love full head first in February, didn't we? Which we'll show a little bit of footage of from when we viewed it.
We won't go as deep as we did with the patrons, because I nearly started crying on camera. But that was a huge project. It was a big existing restoration project, which we would have just loved. We were bidding on it at auction, and unfortunately we lost out in the last few moments. But that's just
life, and roll of the cards, roll with the punches.
And then we moved on to a complete fresh plot, which had full planning. We were going to do a timber frame, kind of an oak frame house build, and that one, what happened there? That was sealed bids.
Yeah. We
put in an offer over the guide, but again it's a bit crazy at the moment, and we missed out on that one. That one we weren't like, it would have been a lovely family house, but it would have been a similar sized plot to this. One of the main hopes is that we can find somewhere with a bit more land, so I can
expand
my menagerie. Yeah.
And like, Tim loves the idea of being a bit more self-sufficient, being able to grow more.
What do you mean, Tim?
Well, I
you
do,
want
but I
sheep
just know
and goats.
that. No, I don't.
Jo once told me that her thing that she wanted to be when she was a child was a pig farmer. I'm going to make that happen for you.
No, I made that up once.
No.
Once when I was very tiny, and my mum has remembered. But that's it.
I will never forget that.
But yeah.
Anyway. We just want the opportunity to be able to do different projects, and with having a little bit more land,
we still haven't got anywhere either.
No,
we haven't.
We're looking at another one at the moment,
and we haven't found another one. We have got one in the mix that we're really excited about.
Yeah.
Which is a bit further away from here, but closer to our family. Well, my family. So they're different.
Yeah, it's a good thing. Love you guys.
So yeah, we just thought now would be the nice time to share with you, and then you can come along, whether we get this one or we don't, or
come along. They're not inviting the whole of YouTube. You mean come along with the journey,
on the
virtually.
Journey.
So really, it could be months and it could be years. We could end up staying here until the right thing comes up. But we just wanted to kind of sow the seed that we're still looking. It could look like a blank plot, and it's going to be a full build from scratch with elements of kind of timber framing and that sort of stuff, or it could be an existing house or a barn conversion somewhere in the middle. So
there's lots of scope when we're on Rightmove, isn't there? It's quite tricky.
Well, we're open-minded, but quite specific at the same time. We're open-minded because it could be one of those three things, but it also has to have, you know, land, outbuildings, potential for, you know, different workshops and stuff like that. Yeah. So
my studio, because I'm going to have to say goodbye to this.
My workshop. It was always going to happen. We were, you know, we were always going to finish this house and then be hungry for the next thing. So we're not misleading you with the title of this video. Plans are changing, and we have been suggested that we stop where we are. Don't do any more.
We've had estate agents round, haven't we, to quote us on the house, which has been really, really positive. But one of the things we were thinking about doing, which was extending off the back, which I know we've talked to you about before, and that was one of the reasons why we got them round, wasn't it? So would there be any reason to do it? Like, would it help the and obviously it would help the sale, but it wouldn't really add that much value because there is a ceiling to this area. So
like anywhere, and we've done so much to the house
Yeah.
that we've basically maxed out, and all the agents, you know, love the fact that there's additional outbuildings, there's the studio space, offices, you know, there's, for the current climate where everyone wants to live and work at home and run a cottage industry from the back garden, we've created that. So hopefully, if and when we want to sell, we're hoping there'll be the demand for the house. But it's one of the reasons why we've managed to finally get that garden tour video done.
Yeah.
Because we would not have cleared all of our junk away if it wasn't for that. And hopefully when we get around to seeing the house tour, we'll be able to show the house in a better light than it has been before, because things are gradually coming into land and we're finishing off bits and bobs. Still a few bits to do, but the pressure's on now, and I work well to deadlines most of the time.
But in regards to our plot that we found at the moment, should we share a few details? Should we give them a little teaser?
Well, it's going down the barn conversion route, and we've looked at a few of those over the years. Even 2 years ago, we looked at buying a half completed barn conversion, didn't we?
Yeah.
And there's pluses and minuses to that, but it certainly is a more certain way of getting a good sized house with land. It's quite hard to find a plot, a fresh plot with no buildings there, which has land. They tend to be garden sized, you know, or small, whereas a barn with, you know, a few acres is much easier to find. But again, in comparison to houses on the market, when you're looking for projects, there's not as many. You know, for every 100 houses there might be one barn conversion or plot, or less than that. And there must be 3 plots,
and it's also
within
hard
50 miles of there.
Obviously we're up against developers, so who can offer quite a bit more, because they want to build about 5 houses on, and we only want to build 1. And we want to have workshops or whatever, so they'll obviously can afford more on the outset, which is obviously, you know, something to consider for us. But we feel like we're in a good position with this one, which is helpful. But now we're at the stage of, another reason why we're wanting to move sooner is because Eden will be going into her last few years of primary school, and we know we need to be forward thinking in terms of taking us a long time to find the right property and then potentially building. We want to kind of see that through before she hits.
You've got to think like 3
secondary.
years ahead, especially with a build project. So that's where we are anyway. For us, there's a priority list, and they're different for Joe and for me.
Precisely.
Joe's always said level garden. It's one of the things you always said.
Warm,
whereas loads of different levels here. So, somewhere that's either passive house or very high on efficiency, and that way, you know, from moving from somewhere like this, which although we've done lots to this house to make it more efficient, it's still always going to be a solid stone house. So
which we're actually appreciating this week during the heat wave.
yeah, that's true. But it's going to be nice to start more with a blank slate and a clean slate, and kind of think about, you know, the design principles right from the beginning, and you know, the windows and the different elevations and things like that. So that's exciting.
And Tim would love to just live like in the middle of nowhere, whereas I want a little bit of civilization nearby.
I don't blame you. Get away from me.
But that's also because I'll be doing the school runs and I'll be doing the swimming lesson trips, so I look at to see where all those things are and their reputations and stuff. So it's really tricky sometimes.
There's a load of stuff to put in the mix.
Tim will find a property and he'll come in and he'll be like, "Oh, look at this," and I'll be like, "I've done my research and it's no."
It's in the
but I don't
it's in the Highlands.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and our families.
North Wales.
We also like plan out how far away our friends are, and so it just does.
Yeah, we don't want to
time.
isolate ourselves, because 10 years, 20 years from now, you know, our business and things like that could look very different. And as much as we can work fairly remotely now, we don't want to kind of lock ourselves away in the middle of nowhere. So I think that we found a good balance now, and we know what we're looking for. So we just got to hope we can pull it off with, you know, one of the properties we're looking at. But yeah, I mean, land and outbuildings is probably my higher up on my list.
Yeah.
Getting, even if we have to build and modify some of the outbuildings, if it's got old barns or stables or something like that, to be able to to set up some purpose-built areas ready for, you know, future projects. Maybe try and get some kind of physical interaction to invite people over through YouTube and through kind of small events and things like that. It'd be quite fun, just to run small workshops. That's something I've always thought about doing as well. So lots to talk about, lots to share. Hopefully
but
we'll have
scary
some good
and
news
sad.
at some point, but you'll have to just park it for now because it could be months.
Yeah.
And we can carry on enjoying this place because it's the summer.
And there's still a long snag list.
And let's move on to that. So we promised to give you an update. We have finally finished the line pointing on that wall. I think there's probably a video in that. I've got a load of footage and some pricings and stuff to talk through on that. What else have we been up to? Guttering, fascias. We're going along the back of the house. Of course, the main roof we finished back in February, but the studio, the garage conversion, the bay window, all of that, all the fascia boards and cladding, we've done that, and the soffits are painted and vented, so there's videos to come out on that. What else? I feel like we've been 50 nowadays for the last 2 weeks. We must have videos to come. Oh, the magnet video.
Yeah.
So we've got a sponsored video coming out next week, and it's a really cool one actually. It's all about magnets. It's kind of like a rapid fire hacks video. We got sent a whole bunch of magnets for this sponsored video, and I came up with a whole bunch of ways to use them in the workshop. Hopefully some of them are unique. At least I didn't hunt around to find if they've been done before, so maybe they have, but there's some really clever ones there. Everything seemed to go pretty well on that. It's quite good fun.
They'll be useful.
And it made me use the workshop because I just haven't had too much chance. It's more of a storeroom for tools at the moment, whereas I was actually making stuff, which was a nice change for once.
Yeah, and of course we've got the full house tour where we go from top to bottom and inside out. So a lot of you will always be like, oh, so where's that in relation to that? Well, this is the chance you'll get to see.
The only chance where the house is respectable. We did shoot it over a couple of days so that we could clear things out the way.
Yeah.
But it is every room. Did we do the cellar? We did, didn't we? So top to bottom, we'll try and dig out some floor plans, albeit that they won't be completely up to date, but we can sketch bits on. And you'll be able to just see how we've worked through the house. We're not going to do footage from 8 years ago and show you how each room started because it's just dozens of hours of searching through old, hundreds of hours of footage. It just takes far too long. But one day, maybe we'll get around to doing a full documentary on the house. I kind of like the idea of that. But we must have 30 hard drives and the servers are all full. It would just take a long time.
Moving's going to be fun, packing up this house. If you have any questions about the move or the house or what we're thinking or anything like that that we might not have covered, let us know on Instagram because we'll do a question and answer so everyone can see everyone's answers.
How do we do that?
Well, you just put a question box on our Instagram story, and then people can add all their questions and we'll answer them so everyone can see them on our stories.
Okay. Or they could use the comment section here.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But then people would be scrolling to find their question, wouldn't they? If they and
maybe.
You might end up answering the same question twice.
We'll make another video if enough questions come up.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, we just wanted to sow the seed so that if for some fortunate reason we do end up in a new place sometime soon, you will know it was coming. But if it doesn't happen anytime soon, then we're good with that too. We've got a lot that we never did here and we can still carry on with. We've got a load of furniture builds and things like that, stuff that we can take with us. So
it'd be nice to actually
and
make things
desks.
too.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So all of the units that I'm going to be building to fit out my workshop here, even if we're here for 6 months or a year, all that can come with us and be plopped into wherever we end up. So I think a lot of stuff like that. Bookshelves, we need to do bookshelves and built-ins. So, well, not built-ins.
We're going to build
freestanding
too, won't we?
Yeah. Anyway, there we go. It is exhausting. It's only been, it's been 8 years since we were last looking at properties. but I'm beginning to remember how exhausting it is, and now is a whole different story.
It's so emotional too, isn't it?
Yeah.
You get invested, but you don't want to get too invested, but you have to get invested because you have to start thinking about everything, don't you, in detail.
Plus, everything we've looked at so far has been sealed bids or auctions.
Oh.
So we've been in the situation where the auction property we missed out on by
we've said
£1,000,
and never,
you know, well, you'd never know,
again,
but but on the flip side, at least in auction, you can see what other people are willing to bid. Sealed bid. Yeah. I mean, you could be
overpaying by loads, or you could be underpaying by loads.
I'm stressed out now thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm not. I'd almost prefer bidding more.
Yeah, exactly.
You know where you stand. Oh well.
I think as long as whatever we offer on whatever place we find, that we're happy with that, it doesn't matter what other people have offered. No, it doesn't.
It does, because that means it's money
if
in
you
the
never,
bank for
as long as
bills.
no one ever tells you, as long as you never ever have a clue.
Yeah, I know, but then it always in the back of my mind, like, oh. Maybe,
well, no, it won't be in the back
could...
of your mind if you're there and you have it.
Yeah.
If you have that asbestos roofed barn in the middle of nowhere, you can stare back onto a rusty old deck chair and think, this is mine. Think of that lovely big Victorian house you renovated that's just sat there finished, but this is mine with cow manure.
I really
left.
love this house.
I know. We filmed some of the video for the tour. We watched it and we thought, oh, I'd buy that. It's like the father of the bride too.
Oh, I can hear a baby.
You have to find that footage
when
he buys the house back. I will literally be sobbing so severely on the day we move. Won't I?
It's a great film, guys.
It won't. I can't. We'll have to just go off camera, off the record for a week or two. I'll be like, but that stone, I laid that stone. Every slate on that roof.
That bath. I gave birth in that bath.
I know. Don't
I
tell
get birth in that bath.
Don't tell the buyers that. Yeah, you get. Yeah.
Did I say that right?
I think you did. You gave birth to a bath. And also, we got a camper van to finish and sell as well. And a lot of people on Instagram have been messaging and emails have been coming in how much we're selling the van for. We haven't the foggiest. We still need to finish it off, but we definitely will be selling it in the next few weeks. We just need to finish a few of the cabinets in a little bit. But maybe we should go camping. Actually, we'd probably be living in it for a year.
That's a no. That's a hard no.
I can't get an awning. I'll get you an awning.
Dude, we can't even survive in it for a week.
Wow.
The dog wouldn't.
In this seat. Oh, the dog's blind and deaf now.
Yeah.
He just falls out the door. Right.
Right.
That's enough chat.
Right, well that's our big news, and obviously minor news, but we have a new lovely t-shirt.
Oh, come on, this is good news. How do you screw? New t-shirts. Joe's been making them in-house, and they're going live today.
Yeah. They are limited, and they are a pre-order, which means so I can make them all at the same time.
Only about a week or so.
It will take a week. Patrons get a little discount, which they already know about. And they're all washable. We've tested them out. Like the description says, they look better with a bit of paint and sawdust on them.
Yeah, don't keep them clean, guys. We want to see.
But they've all been heat
work
pressed too, so they shouldn't come out. You know, they're all.
You gonna show us how you make them? We've got some footage we can share, but it's all a screen printing setup. Joe's been doing it down here in the studio, and they're coming out super detailed. If you haven't seen the design before, it's all about how do you screw. We all know that vertical slots on your screws is the way to go, but just in case you're a little bit quirky and you don't follow that, this should keep you happy. Thank you as always for all your support, and we'll see you next time. Remember, you're going to give us a tagline?
Remember, if you can, do it yourself.
The cheese. Right,
the
it's not.
Are going to be brilliant on this one.
Which are minor domestics here. It's not clickbait. It is.
No.
What? It's such. Why are you arguing with everything I'm saying? What?
Because you are arguing with everything I say, so I feel like I put one back on you.
Right. Okay.
Truce.
Okay, so
With the epitome of a married couple, really.